Hi guys, this is LuckySevenDX, and I'm going to do something I usually don't do today. I'm going to have a bit of a rant sort of video, just because I want to really just summarize all of my thoughts and opinions on something that has been very prevalent on my channel. So many people lately have been saying, "Hey Lucky, that new Mario and Luigi Dream Team game is coming out on blah 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 date. You should LP it. You're going to LP it. Please LP it right away. Your next game is surely going to be this." I want to just explain why that will not nor ever be the case of me doing a day 1 LP. And while I know it's not going to stop people from asking at least 5 or 6 times a day, I at least want my opinion on day 1 LPs out there and really give my explanation as to why there's going to be quite a wait before I play new games such as Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Why it's going to take a long time to see that. Heck, I don't know even for sure if I'm going to do it. Why? Because I haven't played the game yet. I don't know. Maybe the game is terrible. Maybe it's just not conducive to an LP format. I don't know yet. I haven't played it, so I can't make any promises, let alone do a day 1 LP. But I'm going to go ahead and just give a few reasons as to why I think day 1 LPs are just a terrible idea and not something I will ever touch. So, first of all, it just simply makes for a bad LP in my opinion. It doesn't make an actually good LP project. The reason is there's really one of 3 ways you can do a day 1 LP. First of all, you do it blind, which for most games is really not that good of an idea. Especially for like an RPG like this. There's really no value for playing it blind and seeing people's first reactions. It's an RPG, the pace is slow, and especially because RPGs are really built around knowing what you're doing and, customization and, really knowing and how to work the system and showing that to the viewer. That's how I like to do RPGs, and you can't do that blind. You Obviously, blind always runs the risk of you just getting stuck in areas and not being sure what to do, or making stupid decisions because you don't know what to do. I mean, some games like Portal, yeah, it kind of can work for a blind format because that game is all about discovering things the first time. It makes for a better... It works in that format. But for a lot of games, blind LPs just are not good in my opinion. And I would rather do a more sort of, I know everything about this game, let me show you my all this knowledge 100% this game, as opposed to me just bumbling around blindly and having no idea what I'm doing. Which, is just going to be, a problem. So that's one way you can do a day 1 LP. Doesn't really work in my opinion. The second way is you could do a sort of, you can play the game alongside, you can practice it before each episode. But because it's a blind LP, obviously, to be doing this practicing, recording, pretty much like, every day and really be keeping pace. First of all, this isn't much better than blind, because while you'll know things in the short term, you won't really know anything in the long term. You still might be missing side quests, you still might be, missing other things, because, it's all just such a rushed process. You have to practice, and then immediately record. You have to keep up this intense pace of just, doing that. And you're going to miss things still. You're not going to know things in the long term and how decisions you make now might affect things in the long run. So a lot of the problems of blind still persist, and an LPer is still very rushed, It's not very fun to have a game and then immediately have to play it, pretty much 2 playthroughs of it immediately within weeks just to, keep pace. That's just not fun. That's not how I want to experience a game. I am a gamer at heart, and I want to actually be able to take the time and just thoroughly enjoy playing a game for the first time. Having to make it all professional and bring an LP into it just takes all of the fun of that initial playthrough completely out the window, because I have to play the game in the mindset of, okay, here's how I have to make sure I figure out everything right now to show the viewers. I have to do it right now. I can't, sit and not play the game for a couple days. I have to play this game right now or else I'm going to fall behind. So it's just not a very fun experience to do that. That's also a problem. So the whole practicing, but then, it's still being kind of blind because you're only practicing the short turn. You haven't played the whole game already. And by the way, I guess a third option, which I didn't really list on my list here because I made little notes for myself before I made this rant. I guess a third option could be, you just play through the entire game in a matter of days. That's also not very fun because, like I said, I don't have to rush the entire game in 72 hours right when I get it. That's just silly. That's going to make me not like the game. I want to like the game. I'm a gamer, so That option's also pretty bad. The other fourth option, I guess now, is you could also just get a guide. I mean, Mario and Luigi Junior Team came out in Europe. There's probably guides out there already. There are probably LPs out there already, heaven forbid. I could easily do that and just, learn the entire game before I play it. As a gamer, that entirely ruins the experience of playing the game for myself. I'm not going to enjoy doing that in the slightest, because what's the point of really playing a game if you literally just know everything already because you read it? There's no playing it for yourself then. There's no, getting attached to the moments. You already know everything. So as a gamer, that entirely ruins the game for me. Maybe I'm being selfish by saying, hey, I don't want, my job gaming and my casual gaming to mix, but yeah, it's what I'm going to do. Because I want to, I do all this LP and stuff because I love gaming. And I want to, be able to love the games at my own pace and not spoil everything myself just so I can make a day one LP when I could easily just do one, 6 months or a year or however the heck long it takes in the future. It just is not really conducive to A, my style, and B, it just sucks the entire spirit of everything out of it. That's just not a good LP. There's just no way you can make a really good LP out of it, I think. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of those day one LPers who do a good job at, doing what they do there, but I just, as a gamer personally, it just takes all of the gaming out of the equation, and I'm not going to be just some soulless LPer that just does that. That's just silly. Anyway, reason number 2 as to why I don't like day one LPs. So LPs have always been a bit of a gray area. I mean, there's that whole Nintendo thing earlier about, it's been a discussion lately of, exactly if LP helps developers or hurts developers. Do we bring more attention to a game? Do we take away from their sales or do we add to them? It's a very gray area. I would like to think that any harm we do is outbalanced by the help we give. I've had so many people, so many subscribers and people who watch our videos say they went out and got the games because of my LP, or they were able to more thoroughly enjoy the games that they bought because of my LP. I don't think that there are that many people who just watch a game that they would have gotten otherwise and supplement it with my LP because, I don't think you can really give the experience of playing a game to someone just by having them watch a video of it. I think a lot of people want to go out and play the games after they see them. And if they just watched an LP of a game, that they probably were never going to get it anyway, so it's usually, not a big cost to the developer. I think day one LPs are a different case, though, because the game just came out. This is where people who are mildly curious of the game, their only option used to be to have to get the game to see it. Now, with all these day one LPs, I think that's the case where one could certainly argue LPs hurt developers the most is with day one LPs, because these are a lot of people who might not buy the game now because they already saw an LP of it. Games that have been out for years, usually if people have would have bought them already, they have it already. Or they're on the fence and they're looking for opinions of whether or not they want to get the game. Day one LPs, they just came out. They are fresh. They are the developer's bread and butter. This is what's making the money, is people go out and get in the game. As an LPer, I want to support the developers. I want to be on their side. I mean, yeah, I do make money from it, and there is certainly an argument for, who deserves that money. But I would like to think that, we can that LPers and developers can have some sort of, symbiotic relationship where we're helping each other out here. Where, we're taking all these old games or underrated games that no one's really ever appreciated and bringing a new appreciation to it and a new sort of generation of games and gamers. And we're able to bring, more attention to these games that, may have gone to the wayside. Say, like the Oracle games, for example. It's definitely, I think, one of the more underrated Zelda series. That's why I started those for my first LPs. There's certainly a lot of games that are just really have not gotten a lot of attention. Jade-Cocoon 2 is a perfect example of that. Not a very popular project, but the reason I'm doing it is because I wanted to bring some more attention to that game, because it's an interesting game, and I think I just wanted to bring more attention to, that sort of thing. Day one LPs, the games don't need attention. For most Day one LPs are certainly games that are going to be very popular anyway. Dream Team, Dark Moon, Last of Us, you name it. those games are going to be giant hits regardless. Everyone already knows they exist. You're not bringing more attention to the developer. You're not bringing more appreciation to the developer. You're taking away appreciation and money from the developer. It just subverts the entire nature of LPs, and you take this symbiotic relationship where you're helping the developer in a way, or at least, hopefully at least it breaks neutral. I would argue that it would break neutral. But with day one LPs, you're in direct conflict with the developer for your own profit as well. Because, let's face it, LPs work on a sort of popular system. If you're the first one to do it, you already have a pretty big advantage in terms of being noticed. So, to say that there's no selfish aspect of doing day one LPs, I'm sorry, but that's a lie. There is certainly a selfish aspect about it. I don't want to talk shit about anyone, but there's just no way to argue that you don't get more attention by doing a day one LP. That's just the sad truth of the things. So you're kind of just day one LPs to me just seem very much taking away from a developer for your own profit as opposed to sort of a mutual beneficiary sort of thing. So I don't like to do that. I like to support developers. I like to bring attention to games that have been out for a while already and bring a new, renewed interest in them. Not coast on an already surging interest that's been created by the developers to sell their product. So I hope that makes sense, but that's, a very big reason that's another big reason I think it directly hurts developers to do day one LPs. So that's another reason why I do not do them. Third, and I've kind of sort of talked about this already in the second reason, but it's just not in the spirit of LP. I use that spirit of LP thing in quotations because, it's definitely obviously a very arguable concept of what the spirit of LP is. But in my opinion, it's just doing a day one LP is not in the spirit of LP. What I mean is, first of all, you haven't really played, the game just came out. No one has had time, especially the LPer, to really just get invested in the game or get passionate about the game, to really just love it. I like to play games because I love those games. Yoshi's Island DS, the Kirby games, Mario Party, all the games I've done because I just love that game. Or I just am very passionate about it. An LP, I'm not sure if this is going to be going before or after my next LP, but I both love it and hate it. You could also be passionately against a game and still LP it just to sort of express your opinion. You don't have any opinions on a game if it's a day one LP. It just came out. You haven't had time to formulate an opinion or a feeling of the overall game or really be able to passionately talk about it. There's no spirit involved. It just came out. That takes time to develop for anyone who plays the game, which is why I choose to go and play the game on my own, really just thoroughly, understand it, enjoy it, so I can actually, bring that understanding and enjoyment to the audience. For day one LP, you just can't do that. There's no, like I said, it just doesn't have any of that LPing spirit in it, and I just couldn't do that. It would seem like a farce if I did things like that way. So that's not going to happen for that reason as well. I play games because I just truly enjoy them, and I want to share them. I can't do that if I'm playing a game the day it comes out, if this is essentially my first real playthrough of the game. It just doesn't work that way. And anyway, and also like I said, it feels like you're sacrificing the spirit of, LPing for a popularity factor, for selfish reasons, to be quite honest, because like I said, the person who LPs a game first often gets very popular from it, especially if it's a game that already has a lot of popularity and a lot of interest going for it, such as Dream Team. There's just no way that it just feels like, you're sacrificing, the core and spirit of LPs just for, just to sort of give the audience an easy way to see a game without paying for it, and to essentially use that aspect for your own profit. It just feels wrong to me. So, I know I just kind of ranted a lot, and this became like a much more emotional sort of rant than I thought it would be, but I hope this kind of summarizes the reasons why I don't like day one LPs. I actually think that they are one of the more negative aspects about the current LP community, to be quite honest. It's just not in my personal spirit and my, way of doing LPs to do a day one LP. I know most of you out there probably aren't going to watch this. I know most of the people who say, please LP Mario and Luigi Dream Team right now, even though it's not out yet, are not going to see this. I know those are going to still continue. But for those of you who sat here and watched this video, I hope you do understand why I do things the way you do. And I'm sure you guys will be defending things when people are continue to ask that. I mean, I don't want to start like a war of, oh, Lucky said you're not going to do day one LPs. Honestly, I just ignore most of those comments. You guys can feel free to ignore them too. It doesn't just because they keep asking doesn't mean they're going to get what they want. They never ever will. But I just wanted to sort of talk about this. Just get my actual opinion on day one LPs out. Let it be known, let there be a video to summarize my opinions, because as an LPer, I find this issue to be very important. I find, the whole concept of a day one LP to be a very important topic to discuss, and being someone who has a very, perhaps, controversial or negative opinion towards day one LPs, I wanted my viewpoint to be out there, my arguments and my logic out there for, the LP community and for viewers to think about. So that's why I made this video. Mario and Luigi Dream Team, I can't guarantee, like I said, it'll even happen because I haven't played the game yet. It probably will, and if there's a way to do it, you can be damn well sure I will someday, because I've already done the rest of the series, and hell if I'm going to, not finish that. But it will not be on the day it comes out. It will not be in the month it comes out. It will not be probably the next project after the one I do. The next project after Jake Kukudu probably will not be any of those things. It will probably be months. It could even be years before I do that game. I will do that game when I am darn ready to do that game, when I feel it is time to finally do that game. As an LPer, you kind of get a sense of when, especially, I feel like a lot of the good LPers, you get a sense of when is the right time to do a game. When's the right time to bring attention back to a series or back to a particular game. I will be doing Mario and Luigi Dream Team when I personally think the time is right to bring attention back to that game. That is all. It will not happen any time before that. It will happen exactly when it needs to. So, for those of you who are disappointed by this, I'm sorry. I'm not changing my stance on that. That will never change. That is going to be a very core aspect of who I am as an LPer. It always will be. But I hope you guys do understand. Anyways, thank you for sticking through this giant rant on day one LPs. I'm sure it was a total mess like everything I ever talk about, but I felt it had to be done. So, I hope you guys enjoy the new project. I'm not sure if this is going to be coming before or after I post that. Probably before, but I hope you guys do enjoy what's coming next, and of course, all the other projects that happen. And I will see you guys in the next videos I bring out. So, take care, y'all. Bye-bye.